share with you all the things that happened this week. We'll try to set you guys up where you don't fall off of here. I may have to move you to the other side because my stand is at school. Hey, Facebook, I am on. Hopefully, y'all are joining me or coming on. My friends from Facebook land. I'm going to try to find something to keep my phone from sliding around. Give me a second. Still figuring things out. Action needed. I don't like doing it on my computer, but it's all I can do for now. However, they did run fiber optics outside, and hopefully they're going to come hook it up soon. That may help, children. It may help. I don't know. But I don't even know what I'm looking for at this point, y'all. I don't even know what I'm looking for. I need to keep my phone from sliding down. Hope y'all are doing well. How old do you have to be this live? Well, I'm old. No. You have to have, I think you have to make it to where you have 1,000 followers at least. Then you can go live. But Facebook friends, who's on today? Let me know. Speak up. I want to talk to y'all something. I got some fun things to talk about today. Seriously, I'm excited. I'm really excited. Morning, Nancy. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning. I didn't want to do TikTok on my phone. I wanted it to be bigger, but again, I've got 3 devices running and they're not in the order that I wanted them to be in. So I apologize. It is things not the way they are, but they're what we will deal with. So, but anyway, I am excited to talk to you today. Facebook, if it freezes up, let it run. I'm going to download it as a video and repost it to YouTube, and I'll put a link back up on Facebook later on because you may want to watch this later. So I apologize now if it freezes. Hey, Frank, love you. But like I said, if it freezes, just hang on. Maybe download it. Wait about an hour or so, and or give me time to get it downloaded, re-uploaded, and all that great fun technical talk junk that I act like I know what I'm talking about. And then we'll go. Morning, Miss Linda. Yay, my golden eagles are on the way back. Got one of them back there. Get 2 every year. I get to see them. So I got 2 great, wonderful things that I want to talk to you about today. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for the hearts that I seem to be getting on TikTok. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. They're 2 separate things, but they're actually really joined. And it's God. And the more I thought about it this morning, the more if I can get the skim of the surface of it today, great. I don't know if it's going to work. Morning, Grammy. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to give you everything that's in here. And if you've been on my road with me before, buckle up. By the way, I'm not diseased infested. I just have a cold. So for those of you that I don't have a favorite anime. I'm sorry. My daughter does. She's 25. I don't have a favorite anime. But it's a cool thing. But anyway, I have started down this journey that I've needed to go down. I've been dealing with a lot of things personally. And a lot of things are coming to center. And if you've been on this journey with me for a while and you know that I've been struggling with some things, and I know I've been impatient at times. Who doesn't? Who likes sitting around waiting on God? No one does. But it's part of what we have to do. Anyway, so we are trying to do our best to wait on God, but He's starting to reveal some things to me, and it's all in His timing, and we know that. I know that. It's one of those things. You know these things, you have to wait on them. Anyhow, so let's start out like this. Number 1, those of you that know me know I deal with weight. Dealt with weight all my whole life. Well, let's put it this way. I dealt with food because I love food, but too much food is too much. It is what it is. And now I'm paying for it. And so we're having to do some drastic things, or I'm not going to be very functional, mobile, or healthy the rest of my life. So we have to do some things. Good morning. Good morning. So we are finally in a position, in time, in place, in job, in as weird as it has been. Morning, Dad. And it's all kind of falling into place a little at a time. I'm not trying to jump the gun because you can't. I'm just excited that each step seems to be moving a little quicker in the direction that I've been waiting to see if it's going. And I believe in my heart that it's been wanting to go. I just haven't been able to get there yet. And this includes career changes down the road, maybe, and life changes. And there comes a point, I think, in everybody's life where you feel like there's something about you that hasn't developed, and you want to develop it, and you've not been able to. And if you don't allow it to develop, it drives you crazy. But good morning, Miss Peggy. But some people ignore it and just go on with their life. I couldn't ignore it anymore. The past 3 to 5 years, there's been something driving in me. It was a seed that was planted into my head a long time ago, and the past 3 or 5 years, it's really been pushing me, and I really feel like this is the direction God wants me to go in. But because of things that I've done to myself, allowed to myself, whatever, it's not happened yet. So now I'm having to hang on and go. Good morning, Henry. So anyway, long story short, we're having to go down this weight loss journey. This is part one of the part two. So basically, I'm having to fix the vessel. Okay, keep that in mind. I'm having to fix the vessel. I'm having to allow God to help fix the vessel. There's I know it's freezing, Miss Peggy. If it's freezing up, all I can tell you to do is wait, download it later. I'm going to put it back up. It'll be a smooth video then. Live video is unfortunately not fun. The vessel in Jeremiah 18:4, God tells Jeremiah to go to the potter's house and watch him. And while Jeremiah's there, the potter throws clay on a wheel and starts to build a pot. And as he's building it, it says in Jeremiah 18 that he finds it marred, which means there's something wrong with it. There's a defect. There's a problem with it. So then he sees fit to throw it again. And it's good. So it gives us the idea that things sometimes in our hands can be messed up, but it can be redone, remade, and the purpose still be fulfilled. Everything that God makes is good. You find that in Genesis 1:31. When God got done speaking the world into existence and creating everything he was going to create, he sat back and he looked upon his work and he said it was good. We're the ones that make things wrong. We're the ones that mess things up. We're the ones that destroy the good that God makes. Nothing that is evil out there or horrible or wretched is God's work. That's the evil in the world taking God's work and warping it. Even the use of these social media platforms like right now that I'm using between TikTok and Facebook. Great things created could be used for good, but in the wrong hands with the wrong motives can be very evil. But that's not God's doing. So God doesn't create anything wrong. He doesn't create anything. God can't make mistakes. He can't. If he made mistakes, he would be imperfect. And then why are we bothering to look for him? If he didn't know all, why would we even consider him to be the all-knowing? I mean, there's so many questions here that we just answer with our own questions. So part of this is about how I'm preparing for my own repurposing. I'm ready to be repurposed. I know God has made me, and I've been creating kind of I guess, a platform to put all these ideas that I've got into a single bucket. And the single bucket is now looking like to let people know, let everybody know, whomever you are, wherever you are, whatever state you're in, belief you have, here's what I know to be true. You have been created by God. Matter of fact, the Bible says he knew you before he even spoke light into existence. He knew the number of hairs you were going to have on your head or not have on your head before he spoke the world into existence. But you were created by God on purpose. He makes no mistakes. He created you with purpose. He specifically made you specific ways. and for a purpose that only you can do, that nobody else can do. It might be some similar job that they have that looks like what you can do, but only you can do it for that one moment in time, whatever that one moment in time is. And when you complete that purpose, then your time's done. I'm breathing right now on this earth. My purpose has not been fulfilled. If you're breathing this morning, my belief is, based on what I read in His Word, your purpose has not been fulfilled. I just had like 3 more thoughts of ideas to talk about, and I've got to push them back. Hang on. I'm going to push them back. So, this is why sometimes I don't need to talk. All right. So, I don't know about y'all, but is the funny new trend that's happened like the past 5 years has been the repurposing of things. The idea of people driving down the road and someone's put a broken cabinet on the side of the road and some other woman comes by and, she goes, ooh, with a little bit of chalk paint, I can make that into something, and they pick it up and they go and, their house is full of repurposed furniture. And I've done it. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at an old sewing cabinet that I turned into a kitchen island that since then has been broken, but it's now my storage cabinet in my own room. Repurposing things. If it's still good, even if you have to turn it into something different, it still can be repurposed. It's great. And I found a meme on here. It's called, somebody down, I guess it's a southern thing, it's called junker necking. Junker necking, it's a form of rubber necking used to determine if a roadside junk or pile of trash is actually trash or future treasure. Well, anyway, and I also saw this. Grandma bought it. Mama threw it out, but I brought it back. That's kind of where I feel like I'm at right now. That I'm trying to figure out how to take what I was made for, what I originally thought I was made for. But now, over time, things are maybe not totally working like they used to work. Things are a little worn out. But what am I still good for? Or what am I good for now that I need to be good for later? So we're going to try to be ready to repurpose, and that's what this weight loss journey is. So just an update on that for anybody who wants to know. I'm on a path I am going to do the weight loss surgery. I'm going to have sleeve surgery hopefully in another month or two. I have to work the dates out with the doctor, but because I just started going to see him. I've been on the medically I'm trying to find the right word. Anyway, it's the diet that they've given me to follow, plus the medication I'm on. I'm only on half strength medication right now. I've been on it for a week. It's a very low calorie diet, which is, it has to be physician supervised. It's like 800, but I'm running around 1,000 right now because I can't get to 800 yet. I just can't, or I'm going to gnaw a piece of furniture. But I've lost 10 pounds since last Friday. So it's working slowly. I can feel a little bit of a difference already, but we need it to keep going because the goal is to get my knees replaced at some point, maybe late spring, early summer. That's part of my repurposing because until then, I physically cannot do the things that I think I need to be doing. So we're heading in the right directions. I'm very excited about that. So the whole idea of being repurposed is great. But then that started making me think about, how God and everything that's been going on in the news. I'm not going to go into that. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Miss Robin. Mwah, I love you too. Everything that's been going on in the news this week with the whole abortion thing, this is not the time or place that I'm going to talk about that. I'll do that some other time if I want. I'm not going to do that now. But it got me thinking a whole lot about where my belief is. And I'm going to read some scriptures, but and I'm going to leave it at that. But then I'm going to go to you and tell you this awesome story that took place in my kindergarten class this week. Matter of fact, it happened on Friday. My heart was enlarged. I'm not the Grinch, but it was enlarged to see pure love take place between 4 and 5-year-olds without anybody saying anything. And when you see stuff like that, you know that the human condition is not all bad, that it was created to be good. Because it doesn't happen on its own naturally without it being made to be that way. So we know that God makes all good. Genesis 1:31 said that. In Psalm 139, which probably has been read a lot this past week. This is something good, and if you haven't heard this before, listen up. It says, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, that knoweth my soul right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret, and curiously wrought from the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy books all my members were written, which in the continents were fashioned, as there were yet none of them. That's basically saying, in fancy biblical words, God knew you before anybody saw you. He put you together when there was no form. You were a creation of His before you even were begot. He makes no mistakes. He created you. He is the only one that can create. When we talk about creating things, creating art, creating music, creating this, we can't create. Create means we make something out of nothing. Humans can't do that. We have to have something to start with. God doesn't need that. He makes life out of nothing. Psalm 139. Read it sometime. It'll bless your heart. And also in Jeremiah, the weeping prophet. Jeremiah had a problem. He liked to cry. He was a soft soul. But he also says in Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. He already knows what you were purposed for before you were even born, before he even made you, before he even formed you, before he called the light into the world. He knew that God needed you. He made you for a reason. He made you on purpose with your gifts, your qualities, your looks, your ups and your downs, and when you look at, well, if that's the case, well, I've had all these problems in my life. He didn't say it was going to be an easy life. And if you still don't know Him, He can't help you. That's a whole nother subject. We can't get there yet. It doesn't mean that He didn't make everybody. He's made every single soul that's ever walked this earth, whether they've ever recognized Him or not. I am not the believer that says, oh, He only made Baptists. No, He created life. It's who believes in Him. John 3:16. We'll talk about that later. Jeremiah 29 is another great one. I'm getting to the story of the kindergartners. Hang on. Hang with me. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then ye shall call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. God created you with an end in mind. God created you with only the best in mind. God created you with a purpose of only the best quality. That was to live with Him forever in heaven, and while on this earth to share that with others. And His thoughts are way different than ours, because we don't know that from the get-go. We aren't told that from the beginning. We have to go find that. That's the separation part. But when ye call upon me, when you finally call upon Him, then He will hearken unto you. That's the difference between the people who believe in God and who He listens to and acknowledges, and who He cannot hear. God hears everybody, but He can't acknowledge everybody because they haven't all acknowledged Him. This is a whole nother discussion. Got to skip through it. And ye shall seek me and find me, and when ye shall search with me with all your heart. He wants you to find Him. In John 5:31, this is in the New Testament, it says, now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshiper of God, and he doeth His will, him He heareth. All that simply means is, until you've accepted who God is, who that God needs, that you need Him in your life, that you recognize He's created you, and without Him you are nothing. Until you do that, God cannot respond in your life. He made you, but He can't respond. But that doesn't mean He didn't create you on purpose, with purpose, for a purpose, because He did. Look at my vein. I'm getting excited. All right. 2 Corinthians 5:17. This is what happens when you finally decide to, hey, I need you, God. I believe in who you are. I believe that your son did this for me. And I believe that without him doing what he did, I can't be with you. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things become new. The potter repurposes the marred pot. Now, I'm not saying I'm unsaved and I'm fixing to be resaved. That's not what I'm saying. Mine is a physical vessel situation. But this talks about the spiritual vessel. God creates a new pot. Ooh, okay. So then we go back to the verse that this all came from. Jeremiah 18:4. And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again another vessel, and seemed good to the potter to make it. It seemed good to the potter to make it. It seemed good to the potter to make it. God saw fit to make it again. God saw fit to fix it. Okay, story time with Miss Wisnett. This is how I know that God, this just showed me this week how God is in the business of still making it. He makes everybody, and some hearts have bigger ears than others for God. And what I mean by that is not every ear has heard him yet, but a lot of ears can hear him better than others before they recognize their need for him. I hope that makes sense. You may have to go back and hit replay a few times. In my kindergarten class, I had two things took place in my kindergarten class. At the end of kindergarten class on Friday, it had been a rough week with a lot of things that were going on, and I decided in the last 15 minutes we'll play musical chairs, because a lot of the little kids don't know how to play games. They don't know. They've grown up in a world for the past 2 years. You don't play games. So they knew how to play musical chairs a little bit. So we set it up and tried to make it, safe and whatever. And we were playing musical chairs. And the first thing that took place was there's a little girl that her mom works in the school in the cafeteria. And on this round, she sits down and she's in. She got herself a chair. And the two little boys next to her just fighting over this chair. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she just kind of sits there and looks at them. And there's an empty chair on the other side of the room, but they don't see it because they're too busy fighting over their own chair. And they're just fighting back and forth. And finally somebody else gets that chair. She just kind of looks at them, gets up, walks off, and sits in her chair against the wall and calls herself out. And the little boys get up and sit. She gave up her spot so that they could both be in, because she just didn't want to see them fight anymore. And I thought, whoa. 5 years old. She just didn't want to see him fight. So she got up and moved and just left and sat out. And I told her teacher later, and I told her mama later, I said, man, that's a rock solid little girl to give it up for somebody else. Adults don't do that, do we? Jesus did. Anyway, so then here's the other story on top of that. Oh, I wish you all could see my golden eagle that just came landed on the roof outside my building. There's a pair. And I named them once. I can't remember what I named them, but there's a male and female, because they mate for life and they come hanging out in our yard starting in November and December. But anyway, here's the second story, and this is the one that just gives me chills every time I think about it. And I had to hug the little fellow when I told his teacher about it at the end of class. There's a new little fellow that's in the class right now, and because I don't know his parents and haven't talked to his parents, get permission to say his name, I'm not going to say his name. But he's in this class, and he's a really quiet little kid, and he's been great for the week, and I've only known him for 5 days. We were playing musical chairs, and we're playing the game, and things are going fine. And of course, this other little episode had already happened. There's another little girl in there, and I've talked to her mama. Matter of fact, I taught her mama. Her name's Addie. Addie's had when she was, I think, 2, JoJo can correct me if I'm wrong, but she had a benign brain tumor when she was 2 that affected her balance and coordination a little bit. But Addie's the sweetest kid. Now, her mama says she's a fireball, and she is. But Addison is just the sweetest little girl. And so is her brother. And they love me to death, which is great. But Addison's in kindergarten. And she walks really well, but you can tell that sometimes her coordination gets away from her once in a while and she just looks unsteady. Well, we're playing musical chairs and she's right in there doing fine. There's nothing wrong with her. She's right in there walking around the room doing musical chairs with them. And we stopped the song and there was an empty chair over in this one corner opposite of where Addison was. Addison was on the other corner. And this new little fellow was kind of over there walking towards that chair, and he happened to notice her, and she saw that chair, and she was looking at me and looking at that chair, and she was doing everything she could to get over to that chair. And of course, it was taking her a little bit of extra work because she's just trying the best she could. And she's working hard, and he noticed how hard she was working to get that chair. So even though all he had to do was go whoop and sit in it, he stood next to it and kind of walked around a little bit. And as she got closer to it, he fell. Y'all, it was the kid. It was not an accident. Literally, it wasn't like he did it, like he literally tripped over his foot and fell. He did it on purpose. He sat down on the ground, and Addison got that chair, and he got up, and he went and sat down against the wall. And now, y'all might not think that's big, but when you sit in classes and teach for 28 years and you see kids that were humans are 90% selfish little boogers, because we really are. We look out for ourselves. We've done that since we were born, screaming to be changed and fed. And you see kids every once in a while do something like that when nobody's saying anything to them. Just out of the blue, they show their own compassion to their own. And it wasn't like he did it because he felt pity for her. He just saw how hard she was working and thought her happiness for that moment, because she got out, I think like 2 more rounds later, she got out, but it's okay. But for that little bit, he wanted her to experience that. And I wanted to pick the kid up and squeeze him right there. Of course, you can't, you're not allowed to. And of course, that would have been very awkward for everybody involved. But what a picture of what God designed us to be, what he designed us to do, what he designed us to show. Is that kind of love. And, he says to come to Jesus. Jesus says, come to me like little children with that innocent, pure heart. And I wish you could see how Addie is with people. Addie just walks up to you and she just gives you a big hug. And she just, I talked to her mom this morning a little bit just to make sure this was okay to mention her name, because I probably would have slipped up and said her name anyway, but I want to make sure it was all right with her mom. And I told JoJo this morning, I said, I think this week I got 15 hugs from her and about 8 I love yous in class this week. And she's a fireball. She can cut up. When you see her and her brother, they cut up. But the pure sweetness of the heart that's so totally innocent, it's not anything put on. You can't put it on when it's like that. What this little fella did for her, that wasn't a put on. That wasn't a show. That wasn't, I'm doing it to be seen. He didn't care. He didn't even know to be looking at anybody else to be watching him. He just did it for the pure joy of watching somebody else get it. And you're right. You're right. We are amazing creatures because God made us to be amazing creatures, but we have that little piece that kind of separated us. And that's what, it mixes us up. It's kind of, there's a youth activity we did once where you get a glass of clean water. It's great. And then you have this glass of other water that you tell the kids come out of the toilet. And they both look clear. And you take just a dropper and you put just a little drop in the clean water and go, here, you want that? And no one's going to touch it. But it's mostly good. But they're like, I'm like, but it's mostly good. That's how humans are. But there's always that one piece that's wrong. That hence is the separation between us and God, and that's why we need Christ in our life. But that's, like I said, that's a whole nother, John 3:16 is a whole nother thing. But going back to what I started with about how I know for a fact he created us. We are not creations that just happen and then we find God and then we go from there. He created us and knew us before he made us, actually. And then we were created, and he's just sitting back waiting us for for us to find him and move forward. And when we do find him, then becomes the process of, do you need to be repurposed? Do you need to be changed? Do you need to be fixed? Do you need to be advanced? Do you need to be held back? Whatever it is, to do what God's will is for you in your life. That only can happen when you recognize who he is, just like you're eternal. That's the life on earth. Now the bigger picture that I'm not talking about today is your eternity, where you're going to rest eternity, because we do live forever. It's where you're going to live when your body stops here on earth. Because if you recognize who God is and you've accepted who he is as your Father, your Creator, and that's the blood of Jesus Christ is the thing that saves you from the punishment you deserve from your own sin, then your eternal destination is heaven. However, if you reject that fact, even if you think you know who God is, but if you reject the fact that Jesus Christ was the one that stepped in and took your punishment for sin, your eternity will not be as pleasant. That is biblical. That is not me. But God made everybody, regardless of their belief. I hope you got kind of where I'm going with it. I know it's everywhere. Like I said, I started with an idea. The more I got into it today, the more I started talking. I even talked with my preacher a little bit this morning about some things. And I started getting things put together. And of course, my mind just goes about 18 different ways. If I can get it all put together into a writing or to another video later on, I will, and try to clean it up. But I had to share you the stories of the little girls in my room. The one who gave up the seat for the two little boys, and then the little fellow that gave up the seat for Addie, because that moment was so sweet that I'm going to be able to teach next week with no problems. The kids can be rotten next week. I'm just going to be like, you know what, that will fuel me for another 5 days. I say that, you watch. Satan's going to hit me at the door first thing tomorrow morning with something. That's all right. My God's bigger than that. But I wish y'all could have seen it. I wish there had been another human in my room that was paying attention like I was at that moment, because, man, those are the things that remind your heart, not only is God real and God's everything he says he is in the book, but that this humanity's hope that we talk about. Good morning, Miss Nancy, the other Miss Nancy. This humanity's hope that we talk about when we see people do good things for other people. People who do good things for other people without being prompted or without wanting the recognition for doing it, those are the hearts that have better ears for God, whether they've heard God yet or not. I think God made them to hear him. Now the thing is, if they would just hear God all the way through, how much more they'll do. I have some people in my life that I know from the time that they were wee little ones, that I knew that their hearts were going to be really in tune with God. It's just when they were going to click in with God, when they were going to recognize who he was and their need for him. And then once they clicked on with that, watch out. Like these two individuals this week, that little girl and that little fella. If they'll ever latch on with God, you better watch out. You got two that are coming full at you. Because people can be good on earth to each other without God, but the eternal ramifications will not be nice, y'all. Good people go to hell if they don't have God in their life, knowing the blood of Jesus Christ is their saving grace. Anyway, God is awesome. And I pray that if you don't have... Well, thank you for sharing my live video. And even though I would like to keep going, I might keep going for a little bit. But I know that some of my Facebook friends are fixing to go because they got to get ready to head to church after a while. But if all y'all, if you don't have a church, Dogwood Hill Baptist Church, where we go, we attend. We're online starting at 10:45. We have service at 10:45 online through Facebook and YouTube. We start Sunday school starts at 9:45 in the building. And if you're in the Loris, South Carolina area, it's at 1040 Mount Zion Road. if you'd like to go. If you are new and have never been before and you are scared because you don't know anybody and you want to come on, sit with me. There's always seats. I'll make sure you have seats. And then if you are not anywhere near us, and like I said, go to Dogwood Hill Baptist Church YouTube video. It will be live streamed. This video, Facebook friends, will be reposted after a while. It will be re-uploaded on Facebook, but I'm going to download it and re-upload it through YouTube too, so that maybe the hitches won't be there. But I would love to hear from you. Oh, you're in Arizona. Okay, wow, you're up early. If you go to YouTube and type in Dogwood Hill Baptist Church, it should pop up. It's just a YouTube channel, and then the link comes on live here, our time at 10:45. Are you? It's almost 9 o'clock here. Is it almost 7 o'clock there? Because I know that Arizona sometimes does daylight savings and sometimes doesn't. We don't like it over here. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Miss Nancy. Dogwood Hill Baptist Church. Dogwood's one word, like the tree, and then hill. Baptist Church. I can send you a message too. I think we're friends. I'll send you a message too if you'd like me to. But anyway, that should be online that way. But if y'all have anything like this that you see in the world that's in your life, like you run across it in your place of business or your job or your classroom or your even at a family function or your own kids or at the playground or grocery store, and you just see that instant humanity kick in that we all have been looking for again. And I know that we all get big in sharing it. I like seeing some of the things that they put up on social media of the guy who's filming himself, helping a homeless person out. And that's nice that they're helping him, but I don't like the fact that they're videoing it because it seems like they're doing it on purpose. I don't really even want video of it. I want you to tell me what you saw. Tell me what you experienced. Share with us those good things that you see God doing in other people's lives that you just got to be a witness of, that God allowed you to get to see. Or maybe it happened to you too. That you just kind of sit back and go, whoa, people are nice to me. Because like I said, those are the people who have hearts with big ears. Hearts with big ears. I think that would be very awesome to hear more stories like that. I think that would make more of us be able to tolerate the fact that this world is going in the direction that it is going. Oh, by the way, another story. If you got time, you can listen to this one too. I did a little thing with my 5th graders, and it was a rough week with them this week. It just because they're they know everything in 5th grade, and this is weird because I taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grade for 25 years. They thought they knew everything. Well, 5th grade now thinks they know everything. Well, and there's one little girl. I was asking them what made them click. What fueled them? What made them want to keep going? What did they want to do with the rest of their life? And this one little girl just looked at me flat out and said, "Oh, politics." You're 10. What? Okay. Well, she shared with me that she has a Cabbage Patch doll from the 80s that's like worth $8,000. She's going to hang on to it till she gets ready to go to college and sell it so she can have some money for college. Smart thinking. She knows that she can't be president until she's a certain age. So her goal, her plan, not only does she want to become president of the United States, and I believe that she probably will, she's already got it mapped out what she has to do to get there. Okay, y'all 5th graders, in case you don't remember, it's like 10, 11 years old, okay? Kids that age still want to be firefighters and, airplane pilots or something weird. She wants to be president. She wants to be president. And she said, here's what I have to do that. Well, first of all, she said the reason why she wants to be president because seeing the world, how'd she say it? I have a picture of what she wrote. I'm just going to read part of it if I can find it really fast. She said something about she's got ideas for pollution. She's got ideas on how to help. Here it is right here. Let me see if I can read. I'll read to part of it for you. Cancel. Select. Make it bigger so I can see it. Growing up, I see trash and pollution issues. Seeing the world slowly become awful is scary. Y'all, that's what our little ones are seeing. Not just young people, but little ones. And then she says, I have a lot of help, have a lot of ideas to help, but it's tough because you have to be 45 to be president. I think it's 45 or 35. It's one of those ages. But anyway, so she has a plan. First of all, she has to get straight A's. That's in her mind. Then she's going to go to Harvard Law School. Then she's going to become a judge until she's 45, and then she's going to become president. And do debates and win them. And I looked at her and I said, yes, you are. And I thought, she even said, I think it was it Theodore Roosevelt has been a positive impact. I don't know what she learned about Theodore Roosevelt. I'm not saying he wasn't a good president or anything. I'm not. I'm just thinking to myself, I know there's things that he did that were really great. But for a 10-year-old to know Teddy Roosevelt on that kind of level in her mind, way to go, kid. Anyway, so there is still hope out there, y'all. And I'll tell you why there's still hope. Again, like I said earlier, we're up, we're breathing. God said that we still have purpose. He is not done with us yet. When he's done with us, none of us will be here doing this. He will call in a time, the eastern sky will split. He will have the trumpets blown, and those of us that are alive in him will meet him in the sky. Those of us that are asleep in him will come meet him in the sky. Those of us that do not know him will bow before him and recognize who he is, but it will be an everlasting too late. But until that day, you have another opportunity. You have another opportunity to do what he needs you to do, to get to know him, to find him, to do something for him, to be repurposed, to have your pot rebuilt, to be repurposed. Maybe you were a pot for water and now you need to be a pot for gold. Who knows what it is? But if you're breathing, you've got another chance. And there are days that I am not this optimistic. I am one of the most pessimistic people on here. No, you're good. You're not bothering me one bit. But y'all have a great, blessed Sunday. And today's been enjoyable for me. And I just would love to feel like this every day. I know it's not going to always be this way. Keep praying for me as I go down this journey. I'll try to keep you updated with the changes. I just hope this cold doesn't get any worse because my head's starting to hurt. This vein. I promise this is not stress this morning. This is excitement. But it always shows right there. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Miss Pat, I love you. Tell Mr. Grady I love him. And everybody that came on, Miss Nancy, we still need to have coffee. The other Miss Nancy, I got to have some of that chicken, and I hope you still making some of them pickles. Miss Peggy, you hang in there, baby girl. You keep hanging in there. And Miss, I see Grammy's offline already. Henry, I see you. Miss Linda, stay well. And I guess we will talk with you all later. All right, love you guys. And on TikTok, have a great day, my friend. Have a great day. It was great talking with you.